The best CRM system in the world doesn't matter if you don't know how to navigate it and find the information that's important to you. I'm Catherine Ferris, owner of Marketecs and Marketecs Engine. And today I am showing you how to navigate some important data within HighLevel. I truly believe that HighLevel is going to be one of the best investments you can make. If you haven't already done so, please check the links in the description. I have an affiliate link for you to sign up for HighLevel and get a free boot camp. This costs you nothing extra, but it does help me continue to make content like this. I also have Marketecs Engine, which is our own version of HighLevel, where I can literally help you and give you some of these templates that I've talked about in a variety of my videos. Let's jump into what you're here for, how to navigate and find all of your important contact data. So just this week, I've had several of our clients reach out to us and ask us how to find something within HighLevel. Just an important piece or a basic piece of contact information, or how to add a new contact. So it spurred me to decide to make this video all about the CRM features, the contact features within HighLevel. The other reason that I'm making this video is because this is all changing in the very near future. So you can think of this as what we have right now and sort of before stage of the HighLevel contact screen. All right, so let's dive in and take a look. So here we are within HighLevel, or better yet, Marketecs Engine, which is our version of HighLevel. And we are in a demo account, so there's just a few contacts in here for us to play with. So the questions that I've been getting recently are, how do I add a new contact? How do I find the contact information? How do I know what tags are on a contact? How do I know what automations they're currently in? And we have access to all of that information if we know how to find it. We can also create smart lists and do some filtering right within this one screen. When you log in, you're going to want to come to contacts. Here, you're going to see this list of your contacts and the basic information right in front of you. You can change the information that you see here. If there's other information that's more important to you, for example, maybe you want to add business name to this list, not uncommon. There are also some manual options across the top you can choose from. As you hover over them, you get the little screen tips. They tell you exactly what each one of these do. So let's take a look inside of a contact record. If I click on the name, we're going to open the contact screen, and this is what has some coming soon features. In the very near future, this will look different. And this is the before stage. As of right now, we have, and we're just going to look through this screen quickly. We have the contact versus the company. In the contact screen, we have the basic contact information, name, email, phone number, the basic information that you need. And you can see that this is collapsible, this contact section. The next section is general information. Address, business name, so on and so forth. Again, collapsible. You can condense this and how you're looking at it. You can make it a little easier to look at. Some of them are by default, like contact and general info. But then you get into some sections that have custom fields associated with them. If you have a contact form on your website, you may have made a custom field for the message that they're sending through the contact field. And this is going to show up in your contact records here in its own section attached to that contact form. It's something to remember because you may want to reuse that in other forms, or you may not. You may want to have the contact form section and then some sort of question and answer section. You may want to keep those completely separate. And that comes down to how you create your custom fields and actually attaching them to a particular form versus reusing custom fields that already exist. This is how they look in your contact records. So if you keep creating new custom fields every time you create a form, this section is going to get very messy quickly. We've seen this. We've had to go through the cleanup process. And that's why I bring it up. If you've had an account for any length of time, you may see a lot of different custom fields here and different options, and they can be cleaned up. Next on the side here, we have the actions. We have the tags. This is where you can manually add tags. You can see what automations somebody is in, past and present, and you can manually add them to an automation. You can see what opportunity stages they're in and manually add them to an opportunity stage. So you can control pretty much everything about this contact right from this screen. The only thing is it's one at a time. It's individual. This is not automated. This is not part of a workflow. This is really just updating the specifics as you see them. Then we get into the client portal. You can grant access to different courses that you may have built within HighLevel, within the system. You can grant access to different groups and communities. And in this particular demo account, I actually don't have any of those to add, but you would just choose them from the dropdown. You also have full control over your do not disturb or opt out settings. So in this case, I previously did a video about the Texas SMS and how we were handling that. And so you can see that the text messaging right now is turned off for this particular contact. They are opted out or set for do not disturb. I can actually turn that off with the click of a button. If somebody contacts me and says, hey, I left the state of Texas, or hey, I accidentally opted out of your SMS text messages, now I want to get them again. It's that easy, which I can tell you from experience, not all systems are that easy. It can be extremely difficult to get somebody back on your list if they have opted out in some systems. So that is the left-hand panel here. And you may have noticed that as I was clicking on things and changing things on the left-hand side, my feed was changing. This is a list of everything that this contact has done. This is the settings that have been changed or the emails that have been sent. It's more of a communications feed. So yes, this center section is our communications feed. But you can also see some of the activity options that have been updated here as well. And this is also where you could send one-off messages to this particular contact. If I had SMS connected, I would be able to switch between email and SMS. I could send emails from the system and everybody on my team would be able to see the email communications between me and this contact. And this is very much like sending an email in any system. You can have attachments, you can add images, you can even request payments if you're taking payments from the system. So I guess in that way, there's a one-up on using this email versus regular email. Over here on the right side, we have our activity feed. The first piece that comes up is just the activity feed. It says any pages they visited, forms submitted, appointments, etc. It is tracking their activity in the system so that you know what they've done. We see some more little icons here. If there were any tasks associated with this particular contact, they would be listed here. If there were any notes, and again, you can add notes. If they had booked any appointments, and you can manually add an appointment here. If there were any documents attached, contracts, invoices, anything like that would show up right here. And then if they had actually made any transactions, had any active subscriptions, those would all show up here. And then there is associations. If you have custom objects, related objects, anything like that, they're going to show up here. So this is within a particular contact screen. You can see all the stuff that you're able to interact with, edit, and update in one single contact. Now, there are some bulk options as well. You do not have to do one-off contacts, and you don't always have to use automation. If you select more than one contact, you can select all, you could just select two. There is an option here where you can change the pipeline for all 5 people. Click that button. You have to give it a name because it is going to show up in your bulk actions as whatever you name it. Select the pipeline you want them to go to, select the stage, and then you can add and update fields and update the opportunity. You can also manually add people to an automation. If you created a new automation for a sales campaign, this would be one way to trigger all the people to start that automation. And it looks very similar to the previous screen. You put in a name, you say what we're looking to do, which workflow we're looking to put them in. And then you can even say, I don't want this to start till tomorrow, or I want to drip this. I want to put 10 people in at a time. Drip mode is actually pretty interesting. You can batch it. Starting tomorrow, I want to put, and in this case, I only have 5 contacts, so I'll put 1 in at a time. And then I would be able to add to automation. With batch, you have some additional options, settings, start and end, etc. The batch add to automation is a very convenient feature. You can bulk send an SMS to everyone. I don't have a phone number set up, so it's not going to let me do that right now. Bulk send an email. You can add tags to everyone. Here, you have to name it for the bulk action that you're doing, and then you can just add tags. You can remove tags. You got rid of a tag. You're not using that anymore. You can select everybody and get rid of a tag globally. Delete contacts, and you can't do this easily by accident. You actually have to put in the word delete to confirm that. So there's a good safety net there. And you can send review requests, and that's a whole section within HighLevel to collect reviews. And there's a widget you can put on your website. So this is one way that you can send that review request to certain people on your list in bulk. Then we have export and import contacts. Email verification. If you just imported a whole list and you want to verify that those emails are accurate, you can select everybody on that list and do the email verification right there. You can change the company. If you imported a whole list or you have several people that changed companies or a company name changed, this is where you can update that information. You can bulk WhatsApp and merge contacts if you have duplicate fields. So those are all your manual processes. A couple times I mentioned bulk actions right here. You're going to have a list of the actions that you have taken in that manual section, and whatever you call it, that's where that name will show up. And you can always look back at the stats and view the details of those actions that were taken. When you're on your contact list, hopefully you have more than 5 contacts, it often becomes necessary to pull a specific list. One of the things I did for my last video was I pulled a list of everyone from Texas. Out of my 5, I have 3 that are identified as from Texas. And the way you do this is with filters. And you can see here that when I'm on this list, I have these filters set up. It's the state is, or the state is, or the phone number has, or is this. And then you're able to save it as a smart list. So I'm going to go back here for a second, and I'm going to do a new smart list and say the full name is test. When I do that, you can see it's got a live update on the back end. So it's going to find people that match that. I can get an idea like, okay, yeah, that was a good filter. That was what I was looking for. And now I can save this as a smart list, and you name it whatever's going to make sense to you, because you're going to see where it shows up right across the top here. I often have a list for whatever opt-in I'm promoting at the moment so that I can very quickly go and look for anyone who has opted in for that. And usually there's a tag identifying that opt-in. So that might be one of the options that you look for. I'll go back here and look at some more of those filter options for you. You can find anyone that has a particular tag. That would be one way to filter. Another way to filter would be anyone that's in a particular workflow. This only works if they're still in that workflow, because there's active versus finished. Often I will use tags instead of the active versus finished workflow, but maybe you actually do want to know who's active in a workflow at that moment, and that's how you can pull that list. And then save that list, like I said, as a smart list. Smart lists are only visible to the person who created them unless you share them. Under Manage Smart Lists, you can share it with all or with individual users. If I go back to smart lists, you can see that I'm back on the all tab here, and I still have Texas or test. So those are the different smart lists that I've created in my demo account. And there are a ton of filtering options. There's some really great ways to break down your data here. You can see that the list is pretty long, and you can get creative with this, even your custom fields and how people answered custom fields. If you want to look for anyone in a particular industry, for example, you could have a list of all your business consultants. Really quick and easy to pull that list. All right, I'm going to clear that filter. Okay, so we looked through the contact records. We looked through all the manual actions. We looked at creating smart lists. I showed you bulk actions. You can restore data if you made a mistake. These are where the tasks would show up. You can create tasks even in workflows. If you would like to do that, we use a different project management system, but if you are trying to keep things all in one place, then it's very possible to do in here. Again, one of the reasons I call it one of the best CRMs in the world. And then we have companies and the managed smart lists. Now, if you go to this little cog, it takes us into the settings for the fields. This is where if you make a bunch of custom fields, if you make a custom field for every form, you're going to have that long list down the side. And you can see this is in the general folder. You can see if I keep scrolling down, this one happens to be in the contact form folder. And that's what those areas on the side of your contact record that you could expand and collapse. Those are those folders. And you can actually go and look at the folders. You can change the names of them, update this information. You know, this one right here that has 0 fields in it. Well, there's no reason to keep that. So I'm going to delete that, and that's going to clean up my contact record view a little bit. Maybe the contact form and the application form could be combined. Maybe the contact form message field could go under additional information. You can edit these items. You just select it, and we're going to move it to a different group. It's going to be under additional info. And so now when I go back to the folders, you can see that the contact form now has 0 items. Additional info has 5. I'm going to do the same thing with the consult gatekeeper. Let's go find that one right here. We're going to move this to additional info. All right, so now we have 2 empty folders that I can delete and really clean up how my contact records look. And we'll go back and look at that real quick. So I am in the settings section. So I need to go back to my main menu. I'm back on contacts. I'm going to go back to Smart List. I'm going to open that contact record we were looking at before. So now when I look down, the contact information is still there. The general information is still there. And the additional info now has all the additional info, including the message and how ready are you willing to invest question. And there's no other sections. So I was able to really streamline the way things look in here, which I highly recommend. So if they're starting to get out of control, again, you can go to this cog that will bring you into the settings and custom fields. And this is where you're going to clean things up. All right, so I hope that walkthrough was useful. I hope you now will be able to find all the information you need to on your contacts, make better use of your CRM. And again, if you're not currently using a CRM that has all those features and functions, I highly encourage you to go down to the description, click the link, learn more about HighLevel, or contact me, and I'd be happy to give you a personal walkthrough. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Thanks.